The story of the Kaelvorn Empire begins over 2,000 years ago, in a fertile river valley that stretched as far as the eye could see. This river, known to the locals as the Kael, was more than just water, it was life itself. The surrounding lands were rich and fertile, allowing early settlers to grow abundant crops, which in turn supported the rise of villages that eventually became cities. Legend tells of King Kaelvorn, a figure both revered and feared. According to ancient inscriptions, Kaelvorn was able to unite rival clans and tribes under a single banner, creating the foundations of the Kaelvorn Empire. While little is known for certain, these stories paint him as a visionary leader whose ambition shaped an entire civilization. Under his rule, the first cities were built with precision and grandeur, their streets laid out in geometric patterns, and their walls tall and unyielding, designed to protect against both invaders and natural disasters. Architecture was a hallmark of Kaelvorn's early years. Towering stone structures, intricately carved temples, and sprawling marketplaces became symbols of both faith and prosperity. Scholars from distant lands were drawn to Orevel, the empire's capital, seeking knowledge in astronomy, medicine, and engineering. It was said that the Kaelvornians could predict the movements of the stars with astonishing accuracy, a skill that guided their agricultural cycles and even military campaigns. Yet, Kaelvorn was not just a civilization of stone and strategy, it was a people deeply connected to their environment. The Kael River was considered a living entity, and rituals were held along its banks to honor its spirit. Offerings of food, precious stones, and crafted artifacts were made to ensure the fertility of the land and the protection of the empire. These spiritual practices bound the people together, creating a sense of unity that fortified Kaelvorn beyond what armies could achieve. The birth of the Kaelvorn Empire was thus a combination of vision, geography, culture, and belief, a civilization that emerged from the mist of time to shine as one of the greatest powers of its age. At the peak of its glory, the Kaelvorn Empire spanned vast territories, encompassing mountains, forests, and deserts. Its army was a force to be reckoned with, combining disciplined infantry, agile cavalry, and even war elephants, behemoths trained to charge fearlessly into the enemy. The empire's military was not only powerful but also highly organized, with strategies and formations that overwhelmed rivals and earned Kaelvorn a reputation as an unstoppable power. Trade flourished within the empire. Orevel's markets were alive with activity, filled with merchants from far-off lands. Silks from the east, rare spices from the deserts, and precious metals from distant mountains flowed through the city, creating a vibrant economy. Artisans produced intricate jewelry, pottery, and textiles that were sought after far and wide. This wealth not only enriched the empire but also funded monumental projects, from aqueducts to towering monuments that symbolized Kaelvorn's might and ingenuity. Cultural achievements reached remarkable heights. Kaelvorn's astronomers mapped the stars with unprecedented precision, building observatories where they studied the heavens to guide farming and ritual ceremonies. Architects constructed bridges, aqueducts, and grand palaces that blended functionality with elegance. Scholars wrote texts that chronicled history, philosophy, and science, preserving knowledge for future generations. Despite this golden era, subtle tensions began to emerge. Rival factions within the court sought influence, and distant provinces occasionally resisted central authority. Yet, the empire's unity and prosperity made it seem invincible, a shining beacon of civilization in a world often dominated by chaos. Even the greatest civilizations face challenges, and for Kaelvorn, these came from both nature and within. Droughts and famines struck the fertile river valley, straining the food supply and weakening the population. Neighboring tribes, sensing vulnerability, launched raids along the empire's borders, testing Kaelvorn's defenses. Internal struggles began to undermine the empire's strength. Noble families competed for power and wealth, and corruption seeped into government and military ranks. The once united army began to fracture, with loyalty shifting from the empire to individual commanders. Ancient texts recount strange omens, eclipses, floods, and plagues which were interpreted as warnings from the Kael River itself. These events, though natural in origin, took on a spiritual significance that heightened fear and uncertainty among the populace. Rebellions erupted in far-off provinces, and local governors often acted independently, further destabilizing the empire. While Kaelvorn's leaders attempted to address these challenges, they underestimated the depth of the crises. The cracks in the empire's foundations were widening, and the golden age of Kaelvorn, once seemingly eternal, was beginning to fade. The final decline of Kaelvorn was not sudden but gradual. Over decades, the empire fragmented into smaller kingdoms, each ruled by ambitious warlords. The great capital, Oravel, once a city of light and knowledge, fell into decay. Towers crumbled, temples were abandoned, and streets that once bustled with life became silent. Yet, Kaelvorn's influence did not vanish entirely. Its innovations in architecture, governance, and science spread to neighboring civilizations. Scholars preserved its knowledge, and tales of King Kaelvorn and the empire's achievements survived in folklore and myth. Archaeologists today uncover remnants of Kaelvorn's cities, artifacts, and inscriptions, offering glimpses of a civilization that, though lost, left a lasting mark on history. The story of the Kaelvorn Empire serves as a powerful reminder. Even the mightiest civilizations can rise and fall, yet their legacy endures. The echoes of Kaelvorn's brilliance continue to inspire those who seek to understand the past and its lessons for the future.